Hi everyone, my name is Leslie Alappattu. I am one of the Assistant Executive Directors at the IESA office in Bloomington, and I oversee the activity of volleyball. And I wanted to take an opportunity to go over some of the important reminders and changes from last year to this year for IESA volleyball. I'm going to go ahead and just get right into our schedule. For IESA volleyball, practices for 7th grade and 8th grade cannot begin until November 26th. If you are a school that is planning on co-oping with one or more schools, your co-op paperwork must be turned into our office by December 1st. Matches cannot begin until December 31st. Responsibilities of schools that are competing in 7th and or 8th grade volleyball include submitting your online roster and your season record along with ranking. For 7th grade, the online rosters and records are due by February 12th. Those 7th grade teams will complete ranking of the other teams in the regional on February 14th. For 8th grade, the online rosters and records are due February 19th, and 8th grade will complete ranking on February 21st. Both of those rankings are only one day. Rosters will be closed for both 7th and 8th grade prior to the start of their regional play. For 7th grade, rosters will be closed February 22nd at 4 o'clock p.m., and for 8th grade, rosters will be closed March 1st at 4 o'clock p.m. After that date and time, changes cannot be made to the playing roster of the individuals that are listed for your team. 7th grade regionals will take place February 23rd, 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. For 8th grade, regionals will take place on March 2nd, March 5th, 6th, and 7th. And the regional hosts designated by the IESA will set the playing schedule, and those will be posted online after ranking has been completed. For sectionals, 7th grade sectionals will take place on March 4th at 6:30 p.m. 8th grade sectionals will be March 11th at 6:30 p.m. And then finally, for the state finals, our state finals hosts are posted online. And for 7th grade, state finals will take place March 8th through 9th, and 8th grade will take place the weekend of March 15th and 16th. And both of those are a Friday-Saturday format. Next, I want to go over some of our terms and conditions changes for volleyball. In the state series, so that would be regionals, sectionals, and the state finals, it is recommended that each team keep a scorebook at their bench or at the scorer's table. This would be in addition to the host school being responsible for providing an official scorekeeper. The individual keeping the team's scorebook must be a minimum of 17 years old, and they must be seated at the scorer's table if room allows. If space is not available for the individual keeping the team's scorebook at the scorer's table, that individual must sit in the immediate proximity of the score table during the match. Immediate proximity is the first seat on the bench closest to the scorer's table, or in a seat next to the scorer's table. In the event that there is a discrepancy between the visible score and the official scorebook, the match officials will compare the scorebooks of the competing teams with the official scorebook to determine if an appropriate correction needs to be made. If after examining all three scorebooks, the officials can't determine an appropriate correction, the original record of the official scorebook will be considered official and correct. The judgment of the match officials cannot be protested. Also, just to clarify, if you are the host school for the contest and you are also competing in that contest, it is recommended that you also keep a team's scorebook. So the intent is that there will always be, or that there's always that opportunity that there will be 3 scorebooks available. So if there is a discrepancy in the score, 3 can be consulted to determine if there is an error that is made. In addition, in the state series, the individual assigned by the host school to keep the official scorebook must be a minimum of 17 years old. For our state finals on Saturday, our time schedule has been adjusted slightly. We have bumped up all of those Saturday games 1 hour. So the first semifinal on Saturday of the state finals will be at 11 o'clock. The second semifinal on Saturday will be at 12:15. The third place match will take place at 2 o'clock, and the championship match will take place at 3:15 p.m. Major change from last year to this year is that teams are now permitted to compete in 24 matches exclusive of the volleyball state series. So in your regular season, you can now have 24 matches that you compete in. And additionally, a change from last year to this year is that by the start of games, or when games can begin on December 31st, all schools that are competing in IESA volleyball will be expected to submit their season schedule in their member center. We do have a penalty in place that if you are a team that does not complete your online roster and record by the posted deadlines, you will not be allowed to seed any of the teams in your regional, but those teams in your regional will still be allowed to seed you. Handbook changes for the IESA that will affect volleyball. First are pass cards. The IESA pass cards are sent to schools in August, and there are 4 pass cards sent to each school. The intention of those pass cards is that they are for the administrators to use to get into contests throughout the regular season for free entry. When we get to the state series, each of the regional, sectional, and state finals hosts will have access to the competing teams' online rosters that will already include the names of the administrators. Those individuals are allowed free entry into the game. If those individuals would like to bring a guest, if those administrators would like to bring a guest, they must present the IESA pass card in order to be allowed in for free. If that pass card is not presented, that individual will need to pay the regular ticket gate admission to get into the contest. Another change we've made that affects volleyball is the cost for regionals and sectionals. For regionals and sectionals, the cost has increased to $3 for kindergarten through 8th grade students and senior citizens, and $5 for adults and high school students. Regionals with multiple rounds of play in one day will still have the same admission price all day. That has not changed. Just a couple of points of emphasis that the Volleyball Advisory Committee wanted to make sure is communicated to all schools. First, schools must complete that early schedule submission by the date when matches can begin. By the time that the roster and record deadline hits, schools need to make sure that they are entering their full varsity schedule for each grade level. If there are matches that are going to be taking place after that online roster and record deadline, you can mark them as pending, but every completed game should be indicated as a win, a loss, and the score of each of those sets. Please make sure that throughout the season you are keeping track of the score of those contests. And then finally, non-players that are assisting with warm-ups. For example, if you have 7th graders that are helping out with warm-ups prior to the start of the 8th grade match, they need to make sure that they are wearing appropriate footwear. They should still be in gym shoes. They shouldn't be in sandals or slippers or footwear that is not going to be conducive to a safe environment. Coaches also need to use discretion in the footwear that they are choosing to wear when they are coaching. I often get some questions about volleyball uniforms. If you have a question about whether or not your uniform is in compliance, the easiest way to address that is to send me a copy of the proof that you've gotten from a uniform designer, or send me your uniform. I may need to give you a call to follow up about sizes of numbers and letters, but the easiest way for me to give you a ruling on whether or not your uniform is legal is to provide me with a picture of what you are currently using or planning to use. The uniform guidelines are posted online, so I encourage you to take a look at the volleyball webpage when you have an opportunity, and there's a uniform checklist that you can review. But like I said, if I can ever assist with determining if you are in compliance, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. And then finally, I wanted to go over some National Federation volleyball rules changes from last year to this year. First, they have clarified that no team member may assist a player during an attempt to play the ball in order to gain an illegal advantage. Next, the second referee has the responsibility to ensure that the head coach remains in the replacement zone no closer than 6 feet to the sideline when standing during play. If multiple courts are in use, the second referee may end a timeout or interval between sets with a long whistle. And when a replay is signaled due to an injury or illness and the injured player cannot return or continue to play, the head coach may request a substitute or complete a legal barrel replacement for the injured player, or take a timeout if the team has remaining timeouts. There's a penalty in place that eliminates the further delay of the set by establishing that after a team is charged with an unnecessary delay, The coach may request no further substitutions until the next completed rally. Between sets, teams can warm up in their playing area, but they may not hit volleyballs over the net into the opponent's playing area. For all of those schools that are competing in IESA volleyball in November, your school will be sent a packet. It will include the volleyball mailing that includes a copy of the terms and conditions, the volleyball activity update, other important documents that we just want to make sure it gets into the hands of the coach of your team, and then also a copy of the NFHS Rules Book. We do only send one NFHS Rules Book to each school, so if you would like to purchase an additional rules book, you can certainly do so through the IHSA website or through the National Federation of State High School Associations website. We hope you have a great school year and a great start to your season. Again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our office is open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, and we are happy to answer questions and make sure that you are heading in the right direction with your program. Thanks for taking time to watch this video today, and good luck this year.